Alright, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Pyre Community RITE NITE, which means, of course, some good old-fashioned multiplayer Pyre, featuring first and foremost none other than the members of the RITE Club Discord server, the place for all things multiplayer Pyre. And if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then the best way to do so is by joining that Discord group, which you can do by clicking on that link right there. But those of you in chat, you are not off the hook. No, because you see the red circle with the white L below chat. You click on that, you'll find all the various requests that you can make today, including things ranging from selecting players' exiles, mastery, songs, arenas, even Titan stars are all fair game. So, without further ado, let's hop into versus mode here. We'll set ourselves to our defaults, and let me know if there's anyone who would like to get us started today with our first few matches, and similarly, if there's anything we'd like to see, request-wise, for our first few matches here. While we're at it, why don't I hop into Discord so that I'm ready to go. Okay, nice. Let me get Steam friends up as well, real quick. Whatcha? Alright, let's see. What's up, Anor? What's up, Baylor? Anor says she can jump in. Let me send you an invite then. And Failer says he can as well. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let's get Anor. Oh, let me unplug my controller while I'm at it. Just in case, that's probably a good thing to do. Then, for Failer, there you are. Huzzah. Okay. Should have you both now. Invite sent at least.
I'm in.
Alright, nice. Oh, once we have you both, and I think I heard you both. If one of you could just confirm as to which player you are. Looks like Failer, player one?
Yep. Okay,
great. And are those triumvirates right? The huge for you two? Fates and the Nightwings? Or does someone want to mix it up today? Works for Nor?
You don't want to mix up tradition.
Okay. Let's see, let me get you your sigils then. One might say a glorious tradition?
Say indeed.
I don't know, chat isn't saying it right now, so at the moment, it would just be up to fate. Is it the will of the scribes? Or do we perhaps force our hand here? Or is there anything else for that matter that we would like for this first match? Or do we give Failer and Nor a little bit of time to warm up first? Alright, Failer takes the bait. Glorious tradition it shall be, and Nor turns customize off. Alright then. Bring on the chaos immediately. Randomize exiles, masteries, and talismans. And gonna get thrown straight into it. Won't even get to see what those things are in advance, so, you know, what better way to warm up than to do that, right? So let's do it.
Stand forth, exiles.
Oh.
Welcome to the Hulk of Order.
And it's on the boat.
You shall take part here in a glorious tradition.
No way.
We soon shall see who is the most deserving.
What better way to begin? I can't think of one. Okay, for Failer. Both players, in fact, have a demon here. And for both players, it's Orlek. It is truly the will of the scribes. There's no other way to describe it. There is simply no other way to describe it. Fairy Spirit as well. Hold on, Failer gets it. He has that infinite stamina. Zooms forward, does go down. He has Vengeful Vow on Orlek. Now that's That's a bold strategy. That is a bold strategy. As you do need to get that character banished in order to trigger that Vengeful Vow, and he is, of course, Orlek, the character with the longest respawn time, so probably not what you would prefer to have as a talisman on him. What's up, Proxy? How's it going? Orlek battle from a customized off match on the boat. So the boat was random as well, but it truly was. Complete magic. Oh, nearly. Orlek with that second burst of airtime, getting him into the Pyre, but now it's Phaler's Orlek. A lot of space here to throw it in for the full 25. Orlek versus Orlek. Somehow the Orleks have evaded each other. That was glorious. Phaler just took flight even more so than he would have ever anticipated, so much so that he ended up in the sapling aura. Volfred? Is that Volfred with Vengeful Vow as well? I think we've established Phaler has it on Orlek, unless I mistook who it was who actually had it in the first place. But there's Snadra, jumping in for 20 for Phaler. No prayer beats on her, so she is now out for the remainder of this round, but that won't last long, as it's Orlek plunging here for Anor for 25. Now no Orlek on Anor's end. Yeah, Volfred definitely has that Vengeful Vow. Well, that is not the place where Phaler wants to see that orb stuck. Anor shields off, explodes, and might have actually taken out Snadra in the process there. Now it's just Lady River for her, as she waits for Volfred's return. Well shielded. Looks to speed ahead through that opening, but unable to capitalize on it, so now it is just Volfred. That was an interesting strat, throwing the orb at her own Pyre to launch it back out, and then immediately shielding to not only protect herself, but actually banish the one who is doing the casting on Phaler's side. Fairy Spirit, though, for Snadra, so she has that infinite stamina for the moment. But not quick enough to get the throw off in time. Volfred.
Seemingly unfair.
Ooh, Lady River comes back with a valiant return, perhaps, as she did come back with the infinite stamina as soon as Volfred went down, so it does seem as though that was the case, and throws it in for 12. So now Anor back at full strength. Orlek has returned and gets rid of Phaler's Orlek. A bit of extra airtime going over the puddle, but gets shoulder smashed. So now Anor Orlek-less again, as is Phaler. Phaler with Snadra. Shooting star, so Snadra can banish with her throws. But Anor's stunning claim slows Phaler down with a shoulder smash. Gets rid of the only defender left. Volfred not back quickly enough to stop Snadra. Orlek, a little fake maneuver there. Looked like she was jumping backward, only to turn right around and in. Here's Orlek. For Phaler this time, dropping Anor down to 11 now. Of course, Anor does have a sap, and therefore may have some rekindling. Otherwise, one score, likely all that Phaler would need here. Anor. Going for the big one with Orlek. Oh, and was not that far off. Now trying to lay siege on Phaler's Pyre by setting up a dangerous sapling. And does succeed in doing so. And so now, ooh, has to cut it a little bit short on the throw as Phaler was getting someone spawning back in. But chips away at the Pyre. And another shoulder smash from Snadra. That has been a big factor here. Orlek, but there is rekindling. It's 10. So the second life bar for Anor has now been revealed. And we now know at this point that one score would be all that Phaler would need. Whereas on Anor's end, she'd probably need to, depending on if it is a throw or if it is her worm, who has less damage than Volfred or Orlek would.
audacious, aren't we?
Speaking of which, here is Orlek. Opportunity for him, in fact, time to throw it perhaps. And now we have what is functionally a tie game. Unless, of course, Phaler happens to have some hidden rekindling that we did not know about from RITE NITE, the talisman that gives 20 rekindling. Shoulder smash for Snadrum once again, coming up huge for Phaler. Vanishing throws, nor shields off. Has that sapling to throw it from, and finish the job.
The Night Wings prevail.
GG.
Their adversaries came ever so close. Thus end this night's proceedings.
Well played. One score match, good way to get things started. Let's head on back.
Until the next right.
What's up, Core? How are you? Yeah, that shoulder smash on the boat in particular, since I believe it still counts whenever someone goes over a puddle, even if it's not technically them pressing the jump button. So it's just even more opportunities for the shoulder smash to trigger. And of course, if you are jumping, chances are you're trying to jump over a puddle to get the extra distance on your jump, and that means Snadra can just hang out next to your Pyre and wait to shoulder smash whoever it is that's trying to come through. Will of the Scribes now for the song. Let's turn off the sermon intro while we're at it. But is there anything else we'd like here? We have our song lined up. We should probably, yeah, turn Customize back on, unless, of course, that's something that we want to leave off, which we could do, if that is of interest. Otherwise, we'll just have these two take whatever they'd like. It seems like, barring a last-second request here, that may be... Oh, hold on! Glade of Lou from Proxy. Alright, so we at least have locked in a location. Now, is there anything else on top of that? Anything specifically you had in mind, or just looking for a change of venue, and that's all? Random thought that just occurred to me. Now I'm imagining all the various arenas in Pyre. If there were to be a crowd of people who were coming to basically spectate the match, what would the various stadium capacities be for each of the arenas? How many people can fit in the stands at the Glade of Lou versus the Fall of Solium versus so on and so forth? Just a random thought that happened to occur to me now. Little food for thought for you, but alas, that does seem to be the only request we have for this one. The song and the arena. Pretty minimal, lots of them would... Well, I don't know, it depends. It depends. Yeah, I think the...
millionaires pulling up on their yachts to watch.
Hidden Elite would be tough. But yeah, it depends. Like, on the boat, you could have people pulling up on their boats to watch from there. In the Glade, you could maybe, I mean, I think it would be very different from one arena to the next, but Glade of Lou, like, are people hanging out in the trees, like a bunch of tree houses, or just climbing the trees and sitting on a branch to spectate? I don't know about Fall. Because on one hand, I feel like there's enough infrastructure around the arena at the Fall of Solium. It's like, that's built up compared to the other locations. I feel like that is one of the few arenas where I could very much imagine just an outright, stadium seating structure at the Fall of Solium. You're not going to get that at the Glade of Lou, unless you're carving it out of the trees. But I could see it a little bit at the Fall of Solium, just because it's man-made for the most part. The buildings and what have you. Yeah, then take what would be Like a very flat area. Spring, maybe? I don't know, because you just basically have people set up blankets and basically just go picnic style, you know, out. And, just have a big field worth of spectators. I mean, obviously, in that case, not really stadium seating, so if you're far away, it'd be pretty tough to actually spectate, but yeah, just a bunch of floor seats. Isle of Kalamer is probably the highest stadium capacity, just because that one is, I think, the only one where we've actually seen they've built up the infrastructure around it. Outside of, as I said, Fall of Solium, I mean, yes, there is infrastructure, not necessarily stadium seating per se, unlike the Isle of Kalamer, which kind of is that. But alas, we have our rights. We have our rights. And Honor has gotten us started with 20 damage on her first play. A plunge. With Almer. She's moving in with Stowaway, who is stopped here, and it is the other Savage on Phaler's side.
Each fire now burns no more brightly than the other.
Stowaway scored once, going in for a second time round, but unsuccessful there. Stowaway for Honor, going ninja style. Almer with the counterattack for Phaler, makes it in on the throw for the full 20. Right, we need to build bleachers, basically, in, like, Fall of Solium in particular, but perhaps other arenas might be possible as well.
Oh, you poor nightwings.
Stowaway in for Phaler for 20. I believe she has prayer beads, because she's back here. Almer throws it in. Another 20, dropping Honor down to 20. So perhaps one more score all that Phaler needs here, and threads the needle with a throw to finish the job.
The fate prevailed. 'Twas as though the scribes themselves stood by their side.
GG.
The rite is done.
Alright, let's head on back. Yeah, because, you know, basically, like, all the major sports stadiums, they always talk about, like, oh, this is the capacity crowd, and oh, it's all sold out, so there's 20,000 people here, there's 30, there's 40, there's 50,000 people spectating. Okay, I don't think you're going to get to that number in any of the Pyre arenas, but it does make you wonder. Sometimes we talk about the home field advantage and what have you. Well, which squad, which arena would have the most significant supporting crowd? 4 turns customize off. Honor says Knights of the Sea. Oh, obviously wagons as well. Obviously wagons. Or does, I mean, however, do we really know how common wagons are? Obviously, all of the triumvirates have their own black wagons, but is that something that is unique to the triumvirates and everyone else on the downside is without a black wagon? So it's unique to the triumvirates? Because we know the black wagons are very much designed specifically to transport the triumvirates in and around the downside, but I could see, for that reason, them being a pretty rare thing outside of the teams that are going around to travel to partake of the rites.
Well, we know Gertrude and her bunch know how to upgrade them, so probably more common than just 12 in the downside.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do wonder. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a great sense how much people other than the actual members of the triumvirates travel from one section of the downside to the other outside of, yeah, I guess Gertrude, she runs a business of sorts, or at least has her own operation going, and presumably that means she has to have people coming and going to do business with her. Presumably there's some means of transportation, but I mean, are people just walking around? And for the most part, it's whatever section of the downside you're in, you're not venturing far from there. It does seem like it's kind of unique to the triumvirates that they're able to go from one far end of the downside to the other. I mean, just look at the flavor text, or the descriptions that your squad mates give you as you're traveling from one area to the other. And, you know, Joe Dario will say, like, oh, that's way on the other side. That's really far away. Which sort of implies, well, if you didn't have a black wagon, it would not be feasible for you to get there. Who knows? But we'll be at the ridge here.
Things are way less common, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're commonplace, the black wagons at the very least. Alright, I think we have everything lined up here. So let's get going.
The fate shall
Yeah, ridge would be good for a big amphitheater-like structure around it. You could totally build a stadium around this. But alas, here we are, customized turned off, and Baylor has Ignarius,
many banishments.
the Stowaway, and Manly. And Nor with Lady River again, I think. Messenger Imp, and Bertrude. No salute on Lady River. Bertrude. Oh, Infernal Bloom on, I believe that was Phaler's Stowaway. Okay, learning more about the teams here. Iggy. Phaler applying some pressure. And nearly winning the orb back in a dangerous position. Anor through her portal, although Phaler cuts that off. Anor back at it. Blocked and banished. Stowaway taken out now. Lady River. And Messenger in. Nor starts going one way, oh, but can't quite make it through the other way. The Bright Wisp on Lady River, we now know, will automatically pass the orb when she has it and gets banished. Nor. Banished. Manly. Back to the Stowaway. She's cut off. Bertrude gets rid of it, but then gets banished. Iggy pushes the defender back and clears out enough space to make it in for a 30 damage plunge. Nor just barely, at least initially, sidestepped the aura bouncing off of the sapling. But Phaler has won it back now. Though it's momentarily defenseless, at least until Manly returns here. Nor blocked before she can get the throw off and on target. Stowaway. Under the defender and in. No prayer beads on her though. She's now gone for this round. Taylor, elusive with Manly, although lost the orb. Or, oh, tried to get 2 for 1 with that imp implosion, but ended up getting nothing. Did set up a relatively dangerous portal, but now Phaler back in possession. Phaler does have Celestial Spike, so he can banish with his throws and does just enough to avoid getting the back of his heel banished on Ignarius before he jumps in. Stowaway blocked, though banishes the last defender. That was interesting. Started initially throwing in the other direction. Does lock on, but Anor holds on with precisely 1 Pyre life. But Phaler walks it in and takes the win.
And what a crushing victory it was.
GG.
The rite is complete.
All right, well played, you two. Let's head on back.
Until the stars align.
Is that another customize off? Is that a new customize off that I see? Is that Anor looking for a re-roll of sorts? I think it might be. Phaler will put us at the fall, though. See, like, this is what I mean. Sure, maybe right next to the arena, you may not have seating, But there's a lot of stuff built around it. Like, you could... Look, there's some seating for Celeste and Tariq up here, or standing room. You have all these balconies you could have some people watching from. Like, just imagine people standing on those. Watch, that'd be intense. That'd be pretty cool.
Live music, too.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, outside of maybe the Isle of Kalamer, I think this is the most stadium-like structure that we have of all the arenas. But even that, you could argue, Fall Solium may still be more so. Alright, so we have Arena, we have Customized Off. We could still do a song if that is of interest. Otherwise, just about everything is accounted for here. Alright, what will we get this time? Phaler has a sap, a worm, and I believe that has a savage. For Nor, it is a cur, an imp, and a demon. Of course, we'll see what skills and, if we can figure it out, talismans the players have. Almer on a banishing spree, and he has Fairy Spirit as well.
The orb bathes first within
So he'll throw it in for 20. Nor might have been looking for multiple jumps there, but might not have them with Delbert. Almer, taken out by his father. Here is Delbert. Over to Messenger Imp. Does set up a portal, although Vispleth is taken out as soon as she goes through it. Almer. Throw is short. But once again, the banishments.
In goes the orb.
Now, interestingly though, Phaler did not pick up that orb, that Fairy Spirit. Obviously, he didn't need to. But it does mean that Nor was able to pick it up just then, as it was right in front of her Pyre, so that there was a chance that could have become a bit of a factor. Big jump from Almer over to the other side. The Messenger Imp retrieves, and now Phaler picks up the Fairy Spirit orb that he created, the Moondrop. And it's Phaler with Volfred here.
Into the adversary's
Dalbert waits for his reinforcements. But Vispleth is quickly taken out. Both players thinking about getting that Fairy Spirit. But Phaler gets the best of both worlds, both the Fairy Spirit and also the Plunge.
That's it.
Titan Tooth on Phaler's Deluge.
Fire's wane.
That's big. See if Phaler, now having learned that, tries to force the issue a little bit more with Deluge, as he can stun anyone that he jumps into.
Oh. 'Twas but a lowly
Though right now, Phaler applying the pressure with Volfred. He is banished. Now it's Vispleth for Nor, not for long. Dalbert.
tis taken.
That is a dangerous Deluge right there. Sees Chance active for the extra damage, which means he actually does have enough if he were to score there quickly. And as we saw before with that Titan Tooth, just makes it a little bit easier to make it in if Phaler can stun one or both of the defenders hanging out near the Pyre. And from that range, that throw may be unblockable, but Phaler cuts it a little bit short. So Nor still holding on with 6.
Nearly ended.
Dalbert, or rather, Almer down. Here is Dalbert.
Quite foul for
And everyone gone on Honor's side, so time for Phaler to seal the deal.
the fate prevailed. They overwhelmed their adversaries utterly.
GG.
The rite is ended.
Okay, taking the L now. Well played, you two. Let's head on back
until the stars align.
All right, and Proxy is choosing the exiles this time round, so let's see what Proxy has in mind. 1 Flappy character each, please. Okay, and to clarify, by Flappy, what qualifies? Harps? Imps? I mean, a triple hopping cur is, for all intents and purposes, capable of flying. Does that count? Let us interpret whether curs qualify or not. Have to put our thinking caps on for that one. Double jump when throwing on the worms? For me, I think the line is somewhere between worm and cur. Triple hopping cur, at least. If you can jump twice, okay, you know, that's something special. But if you can jump 3 times, at that point, you're basically flying, right? Insert Olympic triple jump reference here. Alright, but not seeing any requests other than that one for the exiles from Proxy. So we'll get started up. 1 Flappy character each. Oh, actually, clarifying question. Precisely 1 or at least 1? Because to be honest, this might be more of a limitation than anything. If anything, players may prefer to have more than 1 Flappy character. At least 1. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Because it's pretty common to see players throw an imp in there, and certainly not out of the question for people to have a harp along with an imp, in which case, obviously, you'd have at least 2 Flappy characters. So Phaler does start with his, with Tamitha, and Anor counters Tamitha with Pamitha, so this will be fitting. Now, as we were just saying, it is allowed to have multiple Flappy characters, and this is exactly the situation that I was describing. Imp and a harp for Phaler. Does Orlek on the boat count as a Flappy character? That's another question, I suppose. We don't call him Air Orlek for nothing. But that's Jodariel there, and a speedy Jody. At that. Then Phaler rounds things out with a quick throwing and saluting Bertrude. And a Web Lanthorn Tiso to round things out for Nor, so she also, in that case, has 2 Flappy characters. Jody, pressing forward here, but goes down. Okay, now I know you're describing them as Flappy characters, however, that does not excuse Flappy Bird tactics. Phaler breaks out his salute early, and uses that to set up this uncontested 30 damage Crone throw. But of course, that is a one-time ability, so Phaler no longer able to do that going forward. Phaler with Tamitha now. Switches into Bertrude, but she's quickly banished. Now Pamitha banished by Tamitha, though. Tamitha taken out by Jody. Nor eyeing the portal, but so is Phaler. Bertrude goes the throwing route. It is unblockable. And it does land for the full 30. The harps collide. And Pamitha switches into Jody, who hops in for 30. Once again, both harps charging in for the orb. And an Or switching in, but losing Tizo and now Pamitha as well. Oh, but look at that quick recovery from Tizo just in time for an Or. Now Pamitha, the only remaining character to make that no one remaining on an Or's side anymore, at least not until Tizo returns, but he does it just in time once again.
All banished.
And now Phaler has an opportunity here. Oh, but he misses the mark!
The orb sails forth
Wait,
into
what?
flame.
Did that bounce off the wall and in? On the Ridge of Gold? Because that just looked off target.
Wherever did the night
Then Phaler turned around and seemingly instantaneously scored. But I didn't see him go to the throwing animation again.
the fate prevail?
I don't know what to make of that.
Performed their adversary.
It was off the wall. I can't think of any other way that would have
Ceremony
worked
is complete.
other than it going off the wall and in. Which I think makes that the first off-the-wall throw we've ever seen at the Ridge. We're gonna have to get the review team on that. We're gonna have to bring that one up on Sports Center.
The next right.
I think it had to be the backboard, yeah. It's definitely happened before. I can't remember it. Jamie, pull that one up. Alright, well, let us know, chat, if there's anything you'd like to see for the next one. Let's see, did we have any? Oh, we had the Exiles request, but nothing set here on the menu screen. Yeah, and the other thing is that since the Crone throw is so big and slow, you know, you saw it, it was off target, you thought, okay, well, that's not going to do anything. And then you had so much time to have that thought settled in your brain that you just sort of moved on and suddenly, wait, what? It's in? What happened? All right, Surviving Exile. And we do have an Exiles request for Rookie first. Is this going to be all the original trio? No, that's it. Okay. Just Rookie number 1. Rookie number 1. All right. In that case, let's get going. All right, we'll check out that clip after this match.
The fate.
No worries. You did it right. You posted it the moment that we started beginning this next match.
Who shall conduct the rites? Rookie.
Okay, it's a Titan Tooth on Rookie for Phaler to lead things off. Now, of course, we know Nora is also going to lead with Rookie, but what direction will she choose to go in? Now, of course, we are at the pit, but the pit is perhaps somewhat similar to another location where we very often see Kerrs in the leadoff spot and potentially throughout the entirety of the team, that being the book. Similarities being that they're both very small arenas, so a Kerr can basically get all the way, or very close to all the way, to the opposing Pyre from just one bar of stamina and one set of triple hops. So does that mean that players will choose a similar strategy to what they do in the book here? Or is the pit distinct enough to warrant a slightly different approach? That we will have to see. Phaler goes for a imp in the second spot, not a second Kerr. So certainly not triple Kerr in Phaler's case. Of course, still a chance he might break out a second one with his last selection. Should have requested no Titan Tooth. Oh, hold on. Oh,
Dalbert.
Dalbert Eternal, question mark? And not quite, that's usually with the respawning talisman as well. Okay, so it is double cur on Phaler's side, and Nor has already taken 2 curs. Is she about to take a third, though? It would appear so, as she locks in Barker here. So double cur plus imp on Phaler's side, triple cur on Anora's side, and it is Phaler getting us started with a 20 damage cur plunge. There's the Titan Tooth, though. It's actually in Nor, stunning Phaler, but can't quite hit the target. Leaping in with the follow-up, whereas Phaler off the wall and in. Oh, is that a double Titan Tooth there? I believe it was. Both players stunned, but Phaler gets the second attempt here. Nor sneaks through. She's now down 1 cur, and Phaler, with a little more space maneuver, finds his way in. And that means 1 more of those, all that Phaler needs now. But Phaler's stunned with that Titan Tooth, and Nor broke out. Though Nor unable to take that opportunity to score, although quickly makes it in here. Phaler with the Titan Tooth stun. And that's all he needs to set up the winning score.
Rite conducted with aplomb.
GG.
Thus end this night's proceedings.
All right, well played, you two, and maybe not quite the triple cur versus triple cur that we might have expected, but just about as close as you can get to that without it quite being 100% curs. All right, we do have a request from Proxy, but before we look at that, I just want to take a quick moment to double check that clip. Oh, I think it started automatically in whatever the slowest setting is, because last time I was viewing a clip was last week when we were reviewing, I think, also one of Phaler's plays when he had thrown and what seemed to have potentially been caught a crone throw immediately thereafter. So Phaler with sneaky crone plays. Oh, but he misses the mark. Yeah, definitely. Off the wall and in. It's pretty clear there on review. Oh, but he misses the mark. Pretty clear. I mean, granted, I guess you could make the case that for crones in particular, that's not that meaningful or not that necessary, because the crone throws are already unblockable, so it's not as if you need to circumvent a defender by bouncing it off the wall and around them and in. Whereas maybe that might be more so the case for something like a Savage, which tends to be the class that we see people bounce off the walls with their throws most often. Okay, let's check, though, for those requests. So, talismans, curses, and blessings. Curse items and legendary talismans only. And Nora says a couple more for her, then she'll swap out. Likewise, same thing for Phaler. Okay. Get some others soonish. Gotcha. Alright, Surviving Exile was from last time, right? I believe we do not have anything for this one. It is just that talisman request from Proxy, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get going. Alright, and it is the Isle of Kalamer. Alright, so it is cursed and legendary talismans only. Cursed and legendary talismans only. So Phaler begins with the legendary Imp Talisman, which will give him infinite stamina on that Imp. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Wait. Any particular number? Yeah, do they need to... Nope, doesn't matter. Do you need to at least have one of each? Or can the players just go, oh, I'm just never going to take Curse Talisman, I'm just going to do 100% Legendary Talismans and call it a day. Right, because if they don't need to take a Cursed Talisman, you would imagine they would probably just go 100% Legendary.
You would imagine.
I mean, there are some use cases for the Cursed Talismans, niche as they may be. Just Legendaries is fine if you want to do it. Okay. Whatever works for you guys, then. You can go 100% Legendary. I mean, that being said, there are definitely some Legendary Talismans that are much more useful than others. By the time you get to that third Legendary Talisman, are you at the point of diminishing returns, and might as well take your chance on a Cursed Talisman? More often than not, I would think players would still opt for triple Legendary, but stranger things have happened. And interestingly enough, Calibur's Anklet generally not held in very high regard when it comes to the various legendary talismans. Snore, a little bit of a unconventional choice there, but at the Isle of Calibur's Anklet, thematically fitting, and with those imps moving around across the arena over the course of the match, it does make for a particularly unpredictable cast. Phaler does opt for a Cursed Talisman there. Seemed as though he was implying that he did have something in mind there that was going to be a Cursed Talisman. So he goes for an Imp. The extra stamina, but inability to pick up the orb, as does an Ore. I believe they both took the same Cursed Talisman there. Hold on just a second. Phaler, not only taking a second Cursed Talisman, but more importantly, locks in his third Imp. Nora says she wants to meme, but what does that mean? What are they doing? That's a great question, Proxy. Your guess is as good as mine. But here we are. Legendary and Cursed Talismans only. As we were just saying, they were allowed to go 100% Legendary Talismans, didn't need to take any Cursed ones if they didn't want to, but both players voluntarily chose to do so. Phaler getting it started with a 25 damage plunge from one of his imps. Of course, no prayer beads, those are not allowed in this matchup, and given those criteria we were just talking about. So if people are to plunge, they will be gone for the next round, guaranteed. But both players, I believe, took the talisman that prevents them from picking up the orb. So there may be times when players have an exile, but can't really do much of anything offensively with that exile, as is the case with Honor's Tizo there. Can score with the stowaway though, but Phaler comes back in time to intercept. And now on the move here with Messenger in. Tried to sneak behind the defense, but Honor intercepts. Phaler with a very dangerous portal. But he can't pick it up with that imp, and that's what I was talking about. Looked threatening, until it wasn't. And that's a super portal for Honor, giving her the infinite stamina, making it a little bit easier to get out into the attack, but Phaler still with time to recover. Honor looking to do so again here. Phaler once again with some well-timed respawning, and Honor, I think, was going on the attack with her imp that could not pick up the orb, but the stowaway, however, now she can certainly do that. Stowaway, banished though. Honor with the stowaway, blocked, banished. Tizo for Phaler, over one defender, and in for 25. Stowaway. Everyone gone on Honor's side now. Okay, Phaler can pick up the orb with that imp. And that drops Honor down to 25, and we have seen that most, if not potentially all, of Phaler's imps have that 25 damage, so as long as it's either a plunge or a full damage throw, he is able to finish this one with just one more score. Oh, and we're trying to bounce or cast off as many of those imps as possible for maximum chaos with Kalimer's Anklet.
Struggle all you like, Rita.
Stowaway was about to go on the attack, then realized Phaler was going to get a defender respawned. Stowaway now, back on the attack though. Blocked, banished. Phaler on the move here with Tizo. Blocks, he's banished, but now has a dangerous portal. Stowaway, oh.
Hang on a sec, I gotta do something.
Okay. So what do we think the greatest stadium capacity would be of the various arenas in Pyre? Is it the Isle of Kalimer number 1? Isle number 1? I think it's Fall of Solium second. If not, maybe even first. Ridge. I think Ridge has some potential. I do think Ridge has some potential. Ridge definitely has some potential. I think Pit of Malith is definitely one of, if not the toughest. The boat for the rich yacht owners, maybe.
Count us down, Lids.
All right. I'll give you guys a 3, 2, 1, go, and on go, we'll hit resume. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, it's gonna be the Stowaway making it in here. The book has, and I don't know what the deal is with the book. That's a good question. Does the book mean that there's automatically 0 people who can spectate it? Does that mean that Beyonders inherently, automatically have the worst support? The worst fans of all the downside? I don't know. But Phaler, what he does know is with that plunge, he takes the win.
Perhaps they do deserve their freedom after all. The rite is done.
All right. Well played, you two.
Until the next rite.
The book is readable. Even with Blackhoof, imps don't implode. The book can be reprinted and distributed, meaning that it has potentially infinite scalability, unlike all the other locations where they are confined to a given location, a single location. Is the book actually the arena with the greatest capacity? And therefore, the Beyonders actually have the largest fan base, the largest group of supporters.
In the Beyonder Crystal, because it's not a physical space you're in. Could you just have 1 million people passed out in a coma in some Beyonder Crystal with Sandra, watching everyone do the rites?
That may be. Who knows? Maybe the Beyonders are actually the largest fan base, the most devoted fan base as well, if that's what they have to do to spectate their team's matches. Oh, what about the Nest of Trieste? That'd be a tough one. That might be maybe not quite on the level of Pit, but maybe not far behind it in terms of difficult places for spectators to watch their team. So bad news for the Essence, and bad news for the Withdrawn. Glade, I think that the Glade, you'd have to get creative. But I think with the Glade in particular, it is very feasible to either make tree houses or just climb up onto a tree branch and spectate from there. In which case, there's a lot of potential for people to watch. And you even have good verticality there, where you can have one spectator on a low branch, another spectator on a branch directly above it, which makes it easier to pack in more people in a smaller area. So I think Glade is a sneaky one, but I actually think there's a lot of potential there. Rookie just opening a stall, holding the orb, and charging money? Nah, that's Ron. That's definitely Ron. How much soul would Ron charge for the orb? And if you don't buy it off him, you just can't do any more matches. 1 million soul holds the entire downside hostage. Nobody can escape until somebody pays enough money to Falcon Ron to finally get the orb back. Alright, but as for requests for this next one, do we have anything in mind? I think both Phalar and Nor were saying they may not stick around for much longer. They may be looking to swap out soon. So this may be one of our last chances to request something in particular for them. And Nor says turn customize off. Could still do arena, could still do a song. Throw in the dice again. Who knows how they might fall? But there's only one way to find out. So let's see.
The fate shall now face the Nightwings.
Alright, it is Cur, Savage, Worm for Phalar, Demon, Crone, Imp for Anor. Phalar gets us started with a 20 damage Savage Plunge with Gareth, no less. Typhoon Bottle Phalar has, which will slow down Anor and possibly just prevent her from getting in at all. No Brazen Manor on Jody. Rookie. I think we saw at least 2. Didn't catch if that was 3 jumps from him. Gareth. Vanished, as is Bertrude here. Bertrude comes back quickly, though, as she just fell in the lava, which means automatic 2-second respawn time. Think we just saw confirmation of Valiant Return on Lady River and Blackhoof. It's only a matter of time before all these customized off matches was going to give somebody the Cursed Talisman that prevents them from picking up the orb. 8 damage on the Worm Throw from Lady River for Phalar. Gareth, blocked, vanished. Bertrude, Blackhoof, can't pick it up.
Be gone, Joe Darnell.
Gareth again. Everyone taken out. Bertrude returns, though, just in time for Anor. Lady River speeds forward. But that's not enough to get the job done. Jody. Portal does not take her far and does not give her infinite stamina, which means it's gonna be hard to find her way all the way across. But here she is again.
Simply monstrous.
And does make it through. Plunging for 30. No prayer beads on her, though, so she's now gone for this round. Gareth blocked, banished. That leaves just Raji by himself here for Anor. And we're trying to stall as long as possible to get Bertrude back, but those Crones have a very long respawn time. And so Phalar's still able to throw this one in relatively uncontested. That seems like a very sniping-centric Rookie, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's just that you don't see all that often players going for such a long cast. But here is Rookie, casting it in for 15. Gareth plunges for 20. Drops Anor down to just 2. Gareth gone for this round, though. So numbers advantage Anor. Jody. Just barely avoids banishment there. There as well, and makes it through for another 30 damage. But now no Jody in this round. Gareth makes it in for the winning plunge.
And such a well-conducted victory it was.
GG.
The rite is complete.
Yeah, that Blackhoof, always hard to find a way to make that work.
until the next rite.
Did have one on right number 1. Failures imp had it? Okay. Core is ready to swap in, and as we were saying, I think both Honora and Failure said that they would be willing to swap out here, or very soon at the very least. So it sounds like we can get Core in for Honora here, and if there is anyone else would like to jump in, Failure says he can jump out. So let me get Core in here and let us know if there is anyone else who would like to participate in our next few matches. Not today for Ironer, have to get up early tomorrow, no worries. Oh! Due last week. By any chance, does this paper have anything to do about inventing a time machine? Okay, got you covered. No worries. That makes total sense then. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Invite you again? Okay, let's see. Failure also needs to get up early tomorrow. Failure, yes, that may be. On the other hand, I do believe you are several time zones earlier than everyone else. Let's see, where are you, Core? To the point where there may be, what, a 9-hour difference? I need to get up early tomorrow. It's 2 p.m. But yes, point taken. So far, I managed to figure out the travel to the future one. A 1 second per second. You know, I've been working on that one as well, and I think I'm pretty close to getting that down. Not quite ready to unveil it, but it's getting there. It's almost there. Alright, let's get Core stuff in here. Just to confirm, Failure, are you still player 1 and Core is player 2? And I'll just swap around and get...
You guys hear me?
Yes.
You're audible.
Oh. However, if you are on controller,
Yeah.
is that showing up there?
It should be. No.
There we go. Okay. Let me get your information in here. We do have a customize off, and we do have a book as well. There we go. Okay. Alright, book. Customize off. In which case, let's get things started. Failure and Core here. For the first time today.
The fate shall confront the path.
Failure will get... Oh wait, did we?
Welcome.
Oh. Thought we still had customize turned off. We did not? Apparently we did not. There we are.
The fate versus
Alright, now we will see. For Failure, it is Worm, Cur, Crone. For Core, it is Harp, Crone, and Worm. So actually, pretty similar here. Crone and Worm on both sides. Key difference being Harp versus Kerr. Of course, Talismans and Masteries likely vary as well. Some more detail to be confirmed soon. Lady River, her throw is unblockable and has just enough on it to make it in there for 15. Infernal Bloom on Lady River, I believe, is who we just saw that pop up for. And was that an
interesting exchange.
An automatic pass from, who would that have been? Vorfrit? On Phaler's side, I think, with a Bright Wisp.
Splendid.
Dying Flame. So an extra bit of damage there coming from Ruki when he plunged.
Sir Deluge's aim
Deluge throws in for 15 for Phaler to follow that one up. Not quite enough time for Phaler to get the throw off there. Crone versus Crone, little standoff there momentarily. But Core gets the orb and gets in for 30. No prayer beads on Udmilda, so she is now gone for this round. Forfeit, banished, but there is the automatic pass. Is it that, or is it just the Valiant Return that's making that happen? It might just be Valiant Return.
What a little splash.
Forfeit straight on in. So 30 on that plunge.
A show of strength from the Nightwing's opponents.
Ruki, the only defender back, but apparently the only defender that Phaler needs. Oh, overshoots the Pyre, but does still find a way through. No Dying Flame this time, though. So slightly less damage for Phaler. And actually, just 15 damage means that must be an entirely left side Kerr for Ruki. Phaler, oh, and only 25 damage there on that Chrome Plunge. Usually you would see 30. And if it was, that may very well have been the last play of the game. But it was not. So Core holds on with just 2 Pyre life here. Phaler, looking to finish the job.
To the adversary's flame.
The Core's won it back. On the attack with Udmilda. Not quick enough. Phaler, anything will do. And there it is.
The fate prevail.
GG.
The scribes themselves surely have taken note. Thus end this night's proceedings.
All right, let's head on back.
Until the stars align.
And let's reset
Alright,
ourselves.
I'm gonna go for, let's say, 2 more, and then we'll hop out.
Okay, Phaler is going for 2 more. So if there is anyone else who would like to jump in, then prepare yourself accordingly, as we will be looking for someone to take Phaler's spot in the not-too-distant future. In the meantime, is there anything else we would still like to see between Phaler and Core before we swap Phaler out for someone else? Not seeing anything at the moment, though, so perhaps we'll just have this one be a match in which both players take whatever they would like. Oh, hold on. Phaler goes fall. But is that all? Uh-oh. Here's a loaded question for Phaler from Proxy. What is your least favorite team? Phaler, I'll give you an out. Talk about any sports team unrelated to Pyre.
Probably the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Pittsburgh Penguins, good choice.
On our cup run back in 2007, I think. would have done good, I think.
I agree. I'm not a very big Pittsburgh Penguins fan either.
Bruins for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Same with my brother for some reason. He even went to Boston when they won the cup in, I think, 2012, was it?
So
He was there
12,
for
or I always forget, 12 or 11. One of those years. Alright, well, Proxy's choosing Exiles. As for whether it's going to be something related to what Phaler was just describing, that remains to be seen. Also, for what it's worth, I know we oftentimes talk about the relation between Pyre and other existing IRL sports and how oftentimes people describe Pyre most similarly to basketball, although I actually think it has more in common with hockey. I just kind of had a recent thought of basically Pyre is hockey where after a player scores, the person who scores goes into the penalty box and the opposing team has a power play. So that's basically what it is. Use the characters that remind you the most of that team, okay, Phaler? Whatever characters remind you the most of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Give you a little bit of time to ruminate on that one. Does that apply for Core as well, or does Core pick based on his least favorite team, whether it be Pyre or in the outside sports world?
Echo, what's your favorite sport that isn't the rights?
Football.
Football, okay.
American
Football.
So it'd probably be the Titans is my least favorite team because I'm a Jags fan and we have a rivalry.
Okay. So basically, just pick whoever you think makes you remember the Titans.
I guess it's in the name, right?
Yeah, Udmilda, definitely a lock. Reminds you of the Titans. Constantly.
With Titan Tooth on.
Oh, we're onto something here. We're onto something. Okay, let's get going.
The fate shall now face the Pyre Hearts. Welcome. Who shall conduct the rites?
Okay, so for Phaler, it is the Pittsburgh Penguins that he is trying to recreate here.
The captain of the Penguins during their run was considered the best player in the league by like a wide margin.
Wait, sorry, I missed who you said you're trying to recreate here with Orlek? Crosby or? Crosby, okay. Also, he constantly gets injured, and Orlek is always out of the action as well.
Well, not back in his younger days mostly, but I don't know. I don't know. It did used to be that case, but yeah, nowadays more so. As far as hockey goes, we want characters who slide around a lot. So we're gonna go with this.
Exile.
All right. Lendl with the power cast. I mean, it's a legendary talisman, so I guess it's based on the Titan. Or, not the Titans, though. It's based on the scribes in that case.
And sticking with the sliding.
What was that one?
Just sticking with other characters who slide around a lot.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, so we have both players taking teams based on their least favorite team. Both players went for a sports team IRL, Phaler recreating the Pittsburgh Penguins,
Was the last of them
whereas Core recreating
a flame
the Titans. One a hockey team, one an American football team, but today they are both Pyre teams, triumvirates, partaking of the rites. So how do those skills translate to this slightly different type of match they are playing right now? As I was saying, I actually think that Pyre is most similar to ice hockey. More so even than basketball. So perhaps that means advantage to the Penguins here, as they are in the lead at the moment. Bertrude hops in here for 30. Sidney Crosby makes it in for the winning plunge.
The golden goal!
Their adversaries must be crying tears of shame.
Can't hate on the men too much. You did win
The
Canada
ceremony
at one point.
is complete.
Did win what?
You did win us the Olympics at one point.
Oh, okay, I was gonna
That
say
was the golden goal. to win.
Canadian of the year or something? Like, yeah, I mean, maybe that would make some sense, but
Until the next rite.
all right, let's reset ourselves here. And I think Thaler at least had said that he's just gonna go for one more, so if there is anyone else who wants to get in on the action, we'll be looking for someone to hop in here soon to take Thaler's spot. It also means that if there is anything else we want to see between Thaler and Core, this is our last chance to make that happen. So let us know request-wise if you have anything in mind. Now I'm thinking of what I would do for a Bruins team.
Probably still Orlek, just because of Zdeno Chara.
Yeah, I guess it depends. You know, are you going for current Bruins, or are you going for like a classic Bruins team? Or, you know,
This
just
is
back a
the
few
default
years?
company Bruins, for sure.
Yeah, we're talking about the cup winning team. The first thing that comes to mind is trying to get someone for, as a little ball of hate for Brad Marchand.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There has to be something you could do for little ball of hate.
Avoid, no matter what, Brad Marchand.
Alright, is there anything for this next match, though, or for our final one between Thaler and Core, where we have them both just taking whatever they'd like in a standard match? It seems like that may be the case. Alright, let's get going then. Meanwhile, everyone else is like, Lids, what? I've never heard of any of these names you're talking about.
The fate
What is hockey?
shall confront the
Oh, and obviously it would have to take place
welcome.
at the cairn.
Who
That goes
shall
without
conduct
saying.
The rites?
Alright, it is Almer leading things off for Thaler. Core going for an
Messenger imp.
voluntary cursed talisman there on Messenger Imp in the lead spot. Thaler takes Fate member number 2 with a Web Lanthorn Raji. Leeching Bertrude in the second spot for Core. Should note that Phaler is in fact on his home arena. Talk about all that home arena and what is the capacity crowd at any given venue, and perhaps we shall see just how much of a home crowd Phaler will gather here. Didn't talk much about the spring when we were having those discussions. So we'll have to see how strong the Fate supporters are looking today, as Phaler takes a full Fate team, no less. Don't even remember the names of the guys playing the sports that you do watch. Fair enough.
Usually their names are on the back of their jerseys, so you could remember it relatively easily.
Yeah, although actually in some cases, you know, when people are, you know, like buying the t-shirts or the replica jerseys, then they'll have the names on the back of those, but sometimes actually in games, when the games are actually running, they just have the number, and the name itself is not there. Despite the name always showing up whenever people are, you know, fans are buying the jerseys or t-shirts of them. Like that's the case sometimes with association football, baseball, I think that's often the case, or at least used to be. Football. Big implosion there. Giving Core a lot of room here to maneuver and a lot of time as well to set up 30 damage and 15 leech. Volleyball as well. Yeah, I can't speak for volleyball, but it's surprisingly common for teams to have just the numbers on the back, but not actually the name, at least not on the official in-game jerseys that people wear. Oh, and some banishments, yes, but all the while, Delbert makes his way through, down south, and into the Pyre. Dangerous portal for Core. The Phaler has possession. Not for long, though. Core doesn't need the portal here. He has Siege chance, and Siege is this chance to score 25.
Now go on, just once more.
Delbert through again.
Into the adversary's flame.
Oh, and look at that Ulmer. Just enough to get off that throw in time before he got banished.
Now go.
Not so lucky this time, though. Does come back. With a vengeance, no less.
True aimed thrust into the fire.
And now suddenly, Phaler could win this with one score, as could Core. Bit of a sudden death match here, and Core with a crucially important interception there. Now looking to go on the attack. Trying to fake out that one last defender, but gets not only blocked, but also stunned from Titan Tooth.
Tis taken.
And Phaler finds his way through for the winning plunge.
Their pyre nearly was extinguished there, but no.
GG.
The rite is ended.
And there you have it. Maybe the home crowd, the home support, may have done just enough to give Phaler the edge he needed.
You guys up there,
Until
go to the games
the
to support us.
stars
You're the real
align.
heroes. You're great. Love this barn. Atmosphere through the roof.
Exactly.
All right, who wants to jump in? I'm out.
Place is roaring over there at the spring. All right, Phaler is hopping out. Thanks for stopping by, Phaler. Good to have you.
Always.
We are looking for someone else to swap in to take Phaler's place. I know we had a few people saying earlier that they were unavailable, but do we have anyone who is available? Any of those roaring Fate fans? So excited about the results of the previous match that they might just want to jump in and give it a try themselves? My rotor can play exactly one match. Let's do it. Let's do it. Sometimes one match is all you need. Actually, let's see what player remote play puts you in as. Alright, chat, and let us know if iRotor has precisely one match, what is the best way for us to make the most out of that match? Does that mean have him take whatever he wants? Or does that mean we come up with some vile combination of things to have him do that he would never do of his own accord? We will see. We will see. Oh, and yeah, can one of you just confirm who's player 1 and who's player 2?
Definitely not player 1.
Oh, really? Tor, are you now player 1?
I can at least not move.
Let me see if remote play is doing something silly here.
My core is player 3 and I'm player 2.
Yeah, remote play says Core is player 3, whatever that means. Okay, I guess we'll act on the assumption that Core is now player 1, and iRotor, you're gonna be player 2, I guess? Now, will it be Pyre Hearts Withdrawn, or do either of you want to switch it up because those colors are kind of similar?
I don't think that's that similar.
Up to you two. If it doesn't bother you, then no big deal. All right. There's the names, and no more fate. And add that. Okay, so all I'm gonna say is there were some harsh words spoken about the Withdrawn supporters earlier today. People were saying that the Withdrawn arena just doesn't have the seating capacity to have any sort of meaningful influence on the home matches for the Withdrawn. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it turns out there are actually a bunch of seats that somehow can be made at the pit.
Do we need something else? Or do we need more than the 523 eyes of Islak looking on your map?
Well, when you put it that way, maybe we should just start the next match.
The Pyre Hearts shall
Okay,
take
well,
on
we are not at the pit.
Withdrawn.
We're at the Nest of Trieste. No requests from chat for this one, so
Who shall conduct
I believe this
the
may,
rites?
in fact, be iRotor's only match of the day, but both players will be taking whatever they'd like here.
Can you make me player 1 in remote play?
I can...
Volfred.
Okay, I'm controlling here, like this. He's player 1. Yeah, he's player 1. Yeah, go to Trieste. Go to Trieste.
The withdrawn versus the Pyre Hearts. Welcome.
Yeah, so I accidentally turned my microphone volume down to like 1/11th of its usual volume for a second there. I don't know how long that was the case for.
Shall conduct the rites.
Hopefully that was only a recent misclick. All I was saying is that ignore that sounds like a start of a really bad joke. 1 sap and 2 savages walk into a bar.
Dalbert.
What happens next may surprise you.
Volfred.
Alright, no issues now with player 1 and player 2 controls and what have you.
Demon.
Speedy Vispaleth.
Tay.
Leeching Stowaway.
Exile.
Finally, Webbed Lanthorn Imp for Iroder.
Alma.
And a Leeching Savage with, or rather, was that Leech in the last spot there? Only caught out of the corner of my eye. Did Core go all in on the Leech here?
Why, that was all of them. There.
Everyone down on Core's side, however, has that Numbing Gust, I'm assuming is where that came from Volfred, preventing Iroder from sprinting, jumping, throwing, using any other special abilities when everyone on Core's side is banished. Because he does have that nutrition stick, so we know it's not coming from a Typhoon bottle, at least not from Volfred.
In honor
And here is Ulmer. That is very confusing with that coloration. It really looked like that was a member of the Withdrawn plunging on their own pyre.
good. Fear not.
But now it is the Withdrawn plunging on the Pyre Heart's pyre for 20 damage. Volfred making moves, but he's taken out.
Thoroughly
Everyone down now on Core's side, but once again has that extra layer of protection from that Numbing Gust. And although teleports to the orb as soon as the Stowaway comes back and nearly catches Iroder off guard, but he was up for it. Volfred again, and gets the throw off
the orb into the flame.
for 16 damage. Volfred again. Taken out, Stowaway. Teleports, takes out the last defenders.
Tay's aim was true.
And that's a 20 damage and 10 leech throw there.
The
so net
fate
30
seemed to
point
be
play.
falling behind.
Did he just say the fate? Oh, Brighton.
Banished, all of them.
Room for Dalbert.
Splendid.
He'll go in for 20.
The Pyre Hearts seem to be falling behind.
Volfred keeps on putting on the pressure, as do the Savages. It's Dalbert once again here, against his son. And his son chooses to hop into the lava. Oh, and daring maneuver there from Dalbert to go over the lava to pick up the orb. Does have just enough to come back, although eventually does get stopped. Well-timed play there from Raji, although does eventually still get banished. Just quick enough from Dalbert to stop that throw, however, the follow-up
Maneuver.
for 19 damage on the throw and 10 leech back for Core's Pyre once again. Stowaway, blocked, banished. Although Ulmer with the follow-up changes the angle, blocked there, banishes the last defender, although Iroder does get someone back. And it's a little chaotic, but I wrote her back in control. Oh, and look at that. Fakes one way and then sneaks through the defenders. Beautifully executed there by Dalbert. Oh, and well done to intercept that throw. As for a second, that looked like it may have been unblockable. Another quick last-second save there. Core, once again, everyone banished, but Iroder may have Dalbert close enough to plunge in nonetheless.
Shall the withdrawn further press their luck?
Series of savage teleportations, although they all go down. Once again, everyone banished on Core's side, although the Stowaway comes back in time to defend. Numbing Gust once again helping to slow Iroder down. And now it's Vizpaleth, who does make it through, and does drop Core to just 10 Pyre life.
No more than a lick of flame.
And we know Core went down all the way on the left side for the Numbing Gust on Volfred. Does he have any rekindling, though? That may be a question we'll need to ask ourselves quite soon. Otherwise, one score all Iroder needs. Core trying to fight his way back, though. After that 20 damage plunge, he is now likely 2 scores away. Dalbert, locked, banished. Stowaway. Fakes one way, goes the other, but gets banished nonetheless. Aggressively placed Sapling. Nearly set Core up with Volfred. But Dalbert makes it in for the winning plunge.
The withdrawn prevail.
GG.
They brushed aside their adversaries without too much trouble. Thus end this night's proceedings.
Alright. Well played, you two. Iroder pops in,
The stars align.
gets the job done, but then has to head out. No worries. All business. Catch you later, Iroder. But that does mean we are now looking for someone else to take Iroder's spot here. So is there anyone from chat who would like to do so? Once again, I know we had several people who said they were probably unavailable, or at least had to call tonight a little bit early, so is there anyone else from chat who would like to jump in here? And I know we haven't been going for that long just yet, but I suppose with that in mind, if most people are unavailable to play today, then perhaps we could open things back up even to those people who were in earlier today and could get you back in for round 2, if that is of interest. Any takers on that? Because at the moment it doesn't seem so. In which case, I mean, I could jump in for a few matches, but it does, generally speaking, seem as though people are not that available today, so we might have to call it a little bit earlier today for that reason. So I can fill in for a bit, but if there is anyone else I'm going over to remote play as if I need to remote play invite myself. That's not the way that that works, Lids. I do need to plug in my controller though, but yes. It's 4:40 a.m. No worries. Good night / morning in that case. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, I'll hop in for a little bit here, and if there is anyone else who would like to jump in, then you're welcome to take my spot, as, you know, I'm basically just holding down the fort for the time being. But as I said, if not, if it is such that we don't really have anyone else, then perhaps we may just end up making it a little bit shorter today. Alright, controller is plugged. Let's see. This would suggest that I'm player 1, because I am able to move this around, although my bumpers aren't changing. Oh. I know I could use the bumpers to change that when I'm hovering over it, but... Okay, yeah, I take that to mean I'm player 1. I guess, Core, you were player 2 previously anyway, so that probably does check out. Okay, so let's see. I have rotor, swap you out, swap me in. Have to go as well, Nor? No worries. Have a good night. Catch you later. Alright. I'll hop in as not the withdrawn, but as I'll go True Nightwings. Be my backup. Okay, so let us know, chat, if there's anything that you'd like us to do. And as I was saying, let me know if anyone does want to jump in which case you're welcome to take my spot. Otherwise, we'll just go for a few matches here, I suppose. It does seem as though everyone is, generally speaking, called it a night a little bit early today. But not seeing any requests, so perhaps we just hop into this one, taking whatever.
How long has it been, Lids?
It's been a while since I last played. I'm definitely gonna be pretty rusty here. So, we'll see how this one plays out. I couldn't tell you when the last time I played was, which is probably not a good sign. So, basically, all I'm gonna do here, especially for this first one, is that I'm just gonna pick the most stylish team on the downside. So that's pretty much all you need to know, is that this team, fashion first. Fashion first is basically all you need to know in this case. Which obviously means that Gareth is the lead-off character. I mean, either you put him first, so he is the star of the show, or you deliberately put him last. That way he is, you know, you're saving the best for last, of course. So, let's see, if we have Gareth is taking center stage. I don't know, do we just go team high fashion? I mean, usually Gareth would, generally Gareth is not actually the person that put first. So, that does actually kind of mess with my usual team compositions. But, you know, we'll just find a way to make do nonetheless. We'll go team, I guess we'll go team high fashion, just with a slightly different order, which may or may not mess things up. Also, that is already a mistake. It is no longer team high fashion. It is, you know, the latest and greatest fashion line, in fact, is, you know, it just has slightly different people working the runways, you know? It's just a little bit different this time. It's a little bit different this time. Different people in slightly different orders.
Sir Gilman.
Alright, so now as for the final stylish member, I mean, yeah, we'll still go Pamitha. She's the usual pick in this situation.
messenger
All right.
Begin.
Ah! And I went straight into that. That last one's on me.
Has been scathed.
Good guess. But then I just decided to stroll on in while I was at it.
The orb is taken.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
A rather cunning trick.
Not so fast.
Now.
Except when it is that fast. I do have the orb right now. Okay, that is generally a good thing to know.
If I were that one, I'd be rather angry.
Or do that. Hero's like, I know you're about to try to implode on me, so I'm not gonna walk right up to you and let you implode on me. Except I forgot the whole thing where, you know, maybe that character's mostly there for defense. That doesn't mean it can't score, though. Doesn't necessarily mean that it can't score.
Her wings have served her true.
Oh, I missed. I missed.
Did that one throw it in?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
The true Nightwing's pyre now burns relatively
Sneaky maneuvers. Okay, no, admittedly, though, that the aura staying around like that is kind of annoying. Oh, wow, that is big. What?
onward thus to greater glory.
Oh, I mean, yes, you scored, but a worm just banished a harp?
The orb is up.
Excuse me?
'Twas flung right in. Once more like that, and we are finished here. And it is done.
GG.
Good game.
The true Nightwings prevail. Their pyre burns, whilst that of their adversaries is but ash. The rite is complete.
All right, let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And let us know, chat, if there's anything you'd like to see for the next one. Or, like I said, if anyone wants to hop in, I'm happy to swap out. Though I am not seeing anything at the moment, neither of the players volunteering to hop in, nor of the request variety. So we may just be in for another match in which we're taking whenever we'd like. So I guess we'll get the next one started up. Oh.
The true Nightwings shall take
Just
on.
what I was hoping we might get.
Welcome.
Alrighty then.
Who
Well.
shall conduct the rites?
Well, in that case, that does certainly influence the way in which we may choose to go about this, right? Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I think we all knew how this one was gonna play out, okay? Do we do it? We should probably do it, right? We should probably do it. How utterly brazen.
Exile.
then... obviously, after that... Actually, what does the second color look like? Not sure what I feel, though, how I feel about those raiment colors. They seem considerably less stylish, in my humble opinion. So I think that might have to be a no-go. It might just have to be a no-go in that case, unfortunately. Actually, tell you what. Let's do some ghostly fashion.
Sandra. Gertrude.
Okay, and then let's do this. Lids, how are you going to score when you plunge with Orlek? I'm not going to score. Is the answer to that question.
Tizo.
Alright, good to see. Another demon.
Commence.
That's not gonna work.
A flame is stricken.
One moment, please. One moment, please. One moment, please. I also totally should have thrown that in for the exact reason that I was speaking about before. Because now I don't really have a way to score. Unless I just, you know, that my way to score is to just let core score so I get Orlek back, right? That's a viable strategy, isn't it? That's a viable strategy. Oh, that's not great. I'll admit, I did not see that one coming.
No more than a lick of flame remains.
Please don't do that. Please allow me to do this first. Please allow me to do
Banishment
that first.
for all. Now,
Alright, fine. Don't let me brazen manner be that way.
excellently done this time, I must admit. The rite is done.
Alright, well played, GT.
Until the next rite.
Alright, and once again, let us know, chat, if there's anything in particular you would like us to do for this next one. Otherwise, we'll just go with whatever. And just trying to get a sense as to whether there is anyone else who might want to come in later to better understand how much longer we may be going tonight, because as I said, if it seems like any and everyone who has wanted to play today has already done so, then we may wrap things up relatively soon. Whereas if there are still people who would like to hop in later, then, well, first of all, I'd say hop in now. You're welcome to take my spot. But then, you know, obviously we can have a few more matches with you. Because I'm not seeing anyone else, at least not at the moment, saying that they're looking to get in soon. Alright, I guess in that case, we'll jump into this one with no requests, so we'll take whatever we'd like.
true Nightwings shall confront the Pyre Hearts. Welcome.
Okay. Let's see.
Who shall conduct the rites?
How do I want to mess around in this one? Let's go... Okay, I have an idea. I do have an idea.
Tay. Manly.
Okay. Then up here, let's go with EU.
Palmer.
Sakura went quick throwing Manly. Now power casting Snadra, and I must admit I've made a crucial mistake here. Crucial mistake. Because now I'm left with Gareth using these objectively inferiorly styled raiments. Obviously, the only correct way to build this team would have been to have made Gareth be the first character so that he would have had the properly stylish clothing on. Very disappointed in myself. I should have known better. I should have known better. There's really no excuse for that.
Exile.
Alright, and we will see if, well, perhaps one can predict what I am planning here.
The Pyre Hearts are first to strike their
Fashion is...
adversaries.
Exactly. You know exactly how it is. Fashion is indeed far more important than function. Oh, it was close. It was close. And now the cat's out of the bag. As if people didn't already know what I had intended. That being to do that. And by that I mean, throw it off the wall and in. Ideally not off the wall and into my opponent. Nope, not quick enough.
Has hit the mark.
I just want one, man. Just want one off the wall and in. I need to see if it's possible in this arena. It's what I need to know.
Didn't see it coming.
Oh, she had shoulder smash. I did not account for that.
Sandra threw
I
it
did
in.
not account for that aspect.
Once more like that, and we are finished here. Oh,
Ooh, I'm out of stamina. That's not good. That's not ideal. That is a critically important flaw. So I don't know. I don't know. We did, of course, see Phaler earlier today bounce
vigor and resolve.
a crone throw off the wall. Where was it?
Ceremony is complete.
Which arena was that on that we saw earlier? Because we've established that Pit of Melith is probably far and away the easiest.
Stars align.
Probably far and away the easiest place to do that. But it does beg the question, is it still maybe not as straightforward, but at least possible to do it at other locations as well? Because I imagine it must be, it's just that we haven't really gone out of the way to try it all that often. And I mean, I bounced it off the wall that time. Didn't hit the target, but with a little more luck, it does seem like it is not out of the question that it could be done. Alright, but as I was saying, unless there is someone else who is looking to hop in here, I'm thinking this might even be our penultimate right here, the last one in which we take any requests from chat before Liberation Rite. But if anyone does want to jump in, you are welcome to take my spot here. If not, though, is there anything we would like to set up for our penultimate rite, the first, or the last one we do before we go into our Liberation Rite? It doesn't seem like it, by the looks of things. So I guess we'll just head on in for the next one.
The true Nightwing.
Okay, now this, granted, is another small arena,
Welcome.
and perhaps the next most feasible arena
The rights.
for off-the-wall throws, or jumps for that matter as well. So now I will learn from my mistakes and put Gareth first, as he ought to be. Or
You can turn off. Yeah, you can turn off my keyboard control.
okay. Wasn't sure if you were intentionally doing that or not.
Exile.
Right now, fashion first and foremost.
Sir Gilman.
Okay. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Core goes Speedy Jody. And for this one, I will take the world's most predictable snap. Wait, what? What? Yeah, no, it's a stowaway. All right. No. First of all, no. Okay, that's fine, as long as you leave Gareth alone.
The orb flies true. The flame is stricken.
Also, I meant to bounce that off the wall and totally forgot to do that. Mistakes were made. One moment, please. I need to bounce the orb off the wall. It's critically important that I bounce the orb off the wall. Engage how feasible it is to do that, and still score. That is of critical importance.
Name of Solium.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Alma banished.
Oopsie daisy. No, auto-targeted! No! I tried to throw it off the wall! What the heck? What the heck, man? Oops.
Tis taken.
No! Don't intercept that! I had my range throw and everything. It was all perfectly set up.
Sir Gilman's
I need to
aim
test
was
it.
true.
It was all... The stars were aligned.
Nearly ended.
Okay? You see the stars? They were aligned. Okay. Close. Close. But like this? Okay. It can be done. From that angle, at least, it can be done against the back wall. Side wall, that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen.
Vanished, one and all.
But we have at least seen that it can bounce off the back wall.
It has gone in.
That much we have proven. That is. That also is not the way to go about doing that.
Alas for Gilman, you are powerless for now.
Oh, you're trying to go off the wall with the... I don't know about the worm throw. I don't know if that has enough range. I don't know if that has enough range. I want to see this. That should be possible. That should be possible. Ah! I feel like it's... If you have a better sense of trigonometry than I have, I feel like this is more feasible than it is at the pit. Because it's more predictable at the very least. Because it's a straight line. Might be easiest to just go, yeah, just go straight across. Whereas you can't do that easily at the pit, even though it would seem like it would be, just because the curve can give you an unpredictable angle at which it bounces off. All right, I've had my fun. I've proven what I set out to prove. Oh, hold up. There is also that person strolling in with the orb. GG.
Their adversaries confidently thwarted.
So yes, probably Pit still best for doing the dedicated off-the-wall throw matches, although, I don't know, perhaps the book is a little underrated for that.
Until the next right.
Maybe it's just a little bit underrated. Alright, but with that being said, that was our penultimate match, which means now, unless there's someone else who wants to jump in here, at the last moment, I think we just set ourselves up for our liberation right, as, like we've been saying, seems like we just don't have quite as many people looking to play in the matches directly today. So maybe we'll wrap things up a little bit quicker than we usually would. So, unless we have any, no? Any objections? We will head over to the Fall Solium, Sermon Intro 1, and we will go Never to Return version of Player 2, meaning the Pyre Arts. No requests for this one, we will just be finishing things off in style. So let's get going.
Why, hello, exiles. You are gathered at the Fall of Solium. You now have this chance to prove yourselves. Only the righteous shall emerge victorious. True Night Wings, stand ready. Pyre Hearts, stand prepared. Now, let us begin.
Alright, so no requests for this one. As we were saying, this was our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So we'll just be taking our preferred teams here. good? Core? Question mark? He's feeling a little intimidated by Pamitha's immense style. Immaculate style, I should say.
Sir Gilman.
Alright. And we will go... Huzzah.
Tizo.
Goes for some leech on Bertrude, and of course, last but not least, is the most stylish man in the downside. None other than Gareth himself.
Exile.
Gore finishes things out with Snadra. With extra Pyre life, and here we are, the final ride of the night. I am on the left representing the True Nightwings, Core on the right representing the Pyre Hearts. Best of luck to you, Core. Oh, that did still make it. I did still make it. Oh, I walked into that one. I did not mean to go through that portal. Oopsie daisy. That was not a prayer beads Pamitha, for what it's worth, so that is not exactly ideal for me. She is, of course, back now. Not quite. Oh, bad time to pass that. Bad time to choose to pass that. Not the best of plays from Lids. Oh, no, you were supposed to banish him. I actually did plan on you banishing him. I could have sworn I got that off in time. No, please do banish. You are supposed to banish. No, Pamitha is very tricky, though.
That one almost got through.
Need that stamina though. I thought I left a sliver, but I did not.
There it is.
And there it is. GG.
Higher hearts
Yes.
proved their worth.
GG's. And that was
For their adversaries,
our final ride of the night,
they did not.
our liberation rite.
Thus ends the liberation rite.
So thank you everybody who participated today in the rites, and thank you everybody who gave us the request today in chat as well. But that will be our final match of the night. So I will duck out of Discord, but I will catch you guys later. Alright, let's kick Core out of the down. No, he's already kicked himself out of the downside. He has been liberated. Don't worry about him, he's fine now. But as for you, chat, I'm not quite done with you yet. As I was saying, that was, of course, our final ride of the night, our liberation rite. So thank you everybody who participated in the rites, and thank you everybody who gave us the request today in chat as well. This was, of course, Pyre Community Rite Night. And if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre like this, then the best way to do so is by joining the Rite Club Discord server, which you can do by clicking on that link right there. My name is Lids, I'm hosting these Ride Nights, and our streaming schedule is Fridays is Mass Effect Andromeda, the campaign. Saturdays is Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. Sundays is obviously Pyre multiplayer, Ride Night. Then Lids Vids on YouTube as well, posting the VODs for all those streams, so if you missed anything, you can catch it there as well. Also doing some Gwent videos, the Witcher-themed card game, as well as some Thronebreaker, the Gwent campaign. New expansion for Gwent coming out in the not-so-distant future, so we might be doing some review of the new exciting cards soon. So looking forward to that. But other than that, if you haven't done so yet already, of course, you can also hit the follow button to get a notification for running live. Also follow me on Twitter at LidsVids. I post there when I'm live as well. But actually, the best place to stay up to date on all things Lids is by joining my Discord, which you can do by clicking on this link right here. But that's going to be it for me for tonight. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And I'll catch you next time.